Few television shows in history have managed to strike the perfect balance between humor and heartbreak, quite like MASH. Running for 11 seasons from 1972 to 1983, the series, set during the Korean War, became a cultural landmark, redefining how audiences approached war, comedy, and emotional storytelling. Yet even the show's most dedicated fans might not realize just how groundbreaking it was, both on screen and behind the scenes. Here are 10 incredible, lesser-known facts that will deepen your appreciation for one of television's greatest achievements. 1. The series finale made history. When MASH aired its final episode on February 28, 1983, it didn't just wrap up a beloved series, it made television history. The 2.5-hour finale, Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen, was watched by over 105 million viewers, making it the most-watched scripted broadcast in American television history, a record that still stands. At the time, it even outperformed the Super Bowl. Cities across the U.S. reported drops in water pressure after the episode due to millions of viewers using the bathroom at the same time. It wasn't just a TV finale, it was a shared national event. 2. Before the show and the movie, there was a novel. While many know that MASH started as a film before becoming a TV show, fewer realize that both were based on a 1968 novel titled MASH, a novel about 3 Army doctors by Richard Hooker, the pen name of Dr. H. Richard Hornberger. A former surgeon who served during the Korean War, Hornberger infused the story with first-hand insight. His novel introduced readers to the irreverent, wisecracking doctors and their war against military absurdity. The 1970 film by Robert Altman amplified the satire with a countercultural edge. When CBS adapted it for television, the series kept the humor but added emotional complexity. 3. Though set in Korea, it was about Vietnam, while MASH took place during the Korean War, 1950 to 1953. It premiered in 1972, during the closing, most controversial years of the Vietnam War. Though never overtly political, the show used its Korean War setting as a subtle lens to critique violence, military bureaucracy, and the ethical dilemmas of war. The historical backdrop allowed the writers to explore anti-war themes and the psychological toll of combat without triggering direct censorship, making MASH a powerful commentary on the cost of conflict, trauma, and moral ambiguity. 4th, Alan Alda was the star, and so much more. Alan Alda, who brought to life the iconic Captain Benjamin Franklin Hawkeye Pierce, wasn't just the face of the show. He was one of its guiding creative voices. Over the years, Alda directed 32 episodes and wrote 13. He championed key changes, including the removal of canned laughter during operating room scenes, and helped reshape MASH from a sharp sitcom into a character-driven dramedy. His influence brought emotional depth to the series, allowing it to tackle love, loss, and the resilience of the human spirit. 5. Cast departures were driven by real-life tensions. Like many long-running shows, MASH saw its share of cast changes, but these exits were often marked by behind-the-scenes conflict. Wayne Rogers, who played Trapper John, left after feeling sidelined as the spotlight increasingly shifted to Hawkeye. McLean Stevenson, who played Colonel Henry Blake, exited hoping to expand his career beyond the show. In response, the writers killed off Blake's character in a shocking twist, announced by Radar in one of the show's most emotional moments. These unexpected departures forced the series to evolve, introducing new faces like Colonel Potter and B.J. Honeycutt. 6. Humor was a reflection of real wartime coping mechanisms. One of MASH's greatest strengths was its seamless blend of absurd humor and raw emotional drama. But this wasn't just creative flair. It mirrored real-life coping methods used by soldiers and medical staff in war zones. Under immense pressure, many turned to gallows humor and biting sarcasm as a form of emotional survival. MASH teeters captured this balance masterfully, giving viewers insight into the psychological defense mechanisms of those serving on the front lines. The humor wasn't about escape, it was about endurance. 7. The show lasted more than 3 times longer than the war it depicted. The actual Korean War spanned just over 3 years, from 1950 to 1953. MASH, on the other hand, aired for an impressive 11 seasons, over a decade. This created a striking paradox. The fictional life of the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital unfolded far beyond the actual war's timeline. This extended run allowed writers to delve deeply into complex relationships, ethical conflicts, and profound character growth. A prime example is Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, who evolved from a one-note by-the-book officer into a nuanced, empathetic leader. 8. The Korean War landscape was actually Southern California. Though the show convincingly portrayed the Korean countryside, nearly all of MASH's outdoor scenes were filmed at Malibu Creek State Park near Los Angeles. Its rugged, hilly terrain served as an ideal stand-in for Korea. The set was impressively immersive, complete with tents, military vehicles, and field hospitals. Tragically, a wildfire in 1982 destroyed much of the location. That loss was woven into the final episode, where the burned-down camp became a powerful visual metaphor for closure and the fleeting nature of war. 9. Radar O'Reilly was inspired by a real person. One of the most iconic characters in the series, Corporal Walter Radar O'Reilly, wasn't purely fictional. The original novel's author, Richard Hooker, based Radar on a real company clerk he served with during the Korean War. Actor Gary Berghoff, who portrayed Radar, was the only cast member to reprise his role from the 1970 film. Berghoff brought a unique blend of innocence and emotional sensitivity to the character, qualities that made Radar a fan favorite and a central emotional pillar in the early seasons. 10. MASH transformed television storytelling forever. Before MASH, most sitcoms played it safe. Predictable plots, static characters, and little room for genuine emotion. MASH* broke all those rules. It introduced weighty concepts like permanent character deaths, moral ambiguity, and emotional evolution. Some episodes even broke the format entirely, like The Interview, filmed as a black-and-white documentary. The show's influence can be felt in many modern dramas and dramedies, from ER and The West Wing to The Sopranos. MASH proved that television could be both entertaining and profoundly reflective. Final thoughts. Why MASH still matters. Decades after its finale, MASH remains a towering achievement in television history, not just for its viewership records, but for its heartfelt storytelling, unflinching honesty, and remarkable balance of wit and wisdom. It wasn't merely a show about war, it was a show about humanity, about people trying to stay sane, compassionate, and whole in the most dehumanizing of situations. Its humor, its heartbreak, and its courage to ask tough questions continue to resonate with audiences new and old. And maybe that's the most extraordinary fact of all. If you enjoyed this deep dive into MASH, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more amazing facts and hidden stories, and share your favorite MASH moment in the comments below.